of the Kona electric vehicle, an electric heart with an SUV soul. Test drive yours today at Cars Plus. McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Coming up tonight on KUAM News Primetime, an investigation is underway after a decomposed body was found behind a residence in Jigo. Plus, an investigation is ongoing after a vehicle flees the scene after striking a man, leaving him for dead on Saturday. The triple-digit number 988 goes live as Guam's local lifeline number. These stories and more right here, right now on your News Eater, the voice of the Marianas. Hafide, good evening, everyone. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. Guahusi Isaiah again, and thank you for joining us. A dead body was found this morning behind a Jigo residence after a report was made to the Guam Police Department about a foul odor within the neighborhood. With more on tonight's top story, here's KUAM's Kobe Onadera.
It was a lingering foul odor that caught the attention of a Jigo neighborhood. On Monday, the Guam Police Department and its Criminal Investigation Division responded to an incident along Tun Luis Anapco Street. After a brief search, a decomposed body was discovered behind a home. Jigo Mayor Anthony Sanchez arrived shortly after the police.
They just, information all I have is just a decomposed body that was found, and that's about it. Yeah, no identification, so I'm just going to let GPD do their part and do their investigation, and we'll go from there.
It's a peaceful area, and usually you won't see incidences like this happen along the street, according to Sanchez.
It's a very quiet neighborhood. This is all basically all family in here, so it's a very quiet neighborhood, very safe.
So typically you wouldn't hear this type of situation happen in this area?
No, not in this area, not in this area.
Mayor Sanchez told KUAM News residents of Jigo are worried in light of the discovery of the body.
It's always a concern when you find a dead body in the village. You know, I mean, especially this kind of situation where it's a decomposed body. The body's probably been there for a while, so, you know, we just have to hope and pray that, you know, they're able to identify who the body is.
With crime rates high and multiple concerns surfacing from villagers, Sanchez noted that he aims to work with GPD and bring comfort to his residents.
Hopefully we can work together to solve some of these issues. A lot of complaints about teenagers roaming the streets, teenagers drinking, you know, stuff like that. Just people stopping by people's houses with cars, and they get out, they look at the house. You know, situations like that. Hoping that, you know, these actions can be taken to stop these issues.
GPD spokesperson Officer Berlin Savella did not confirm whether the dead body was male or female and if foul play was involved. CID has assumed responsibility of the ongoing investigation. An autopsy is scheduled for a later time. Reporting for KUAM News, I'm Kobe Onadera.
There has been no new information on the weekend auto pedestrian crash that left a man dead. It was on Saturday morning around 7:15 a.m. when officers from the Dededo precinct responded to a call along Route 3 by Swamp Road of a man on the roadway unconscious and unresponsive. The vehicle involved fled the scene. The Guam Police Department's Highway Patrol Division was activated and is currently investigating. If you know of any information related to this incident or may have witnessed the incident, you are urged to contact the police or leave a tip at guam.crimestoppersweb.com. In other news, the condition is unknown of a male swimmer who was pulled from the waters in Ipan was rushed to the Naval Hospital, Guam. According to Guam Fire Department spokesperson Nick Garrido, at around 10:01 a.m. on Saturday, units responded to Moylan's Beach for a call of a reported drowning. Bystanders managed to pull the man from the waters, who was unconscious, and GFD personnel conducted CPR. KUAM's Esther Lacanto filed this next report in what Police Chief Stephen Ignacio calls the dark side of our island. Lawmakers held a roundtable discussion today on criminal sexual conduct and the statistics that show a disturbing number of child rapes committed by friends or family members.
From 2017 to 2021, there were almost 1,300 criminal sexual conduct cases, although that number is skewed because sometimes a defendant is charged with multiple counts in the same arrest. But Police Chief Steve Ignacio says it's also true that many crimes go unreported.
Having them have that courage to come forward and say, I won't be a victim anymore. I won't let this happen to me anymore. I'm going to stand up for myself and come forward and say, enough is enough. I need you to know that this is what's happening to me.
The chief knows this all too well as a former member of the now defunct Rape Investigation Unit.
Sometimes they come forward years later after the incident has occurred evidence is lost. There's no crime scene to process anymore. Victims are a lot older now, and they're just coming forward. So those are some of the dynamics of a criminal sexual conduct investigation.
Meanwhile, Attorney General Leven Camacho says only a very small percentage of cases are reported immediately when law enforcement can respond more effectively. He says also complicating prosecution is the fact that victims are often very young.
We had a case last week where it was a victim who was 4-year-old. So having to call a 4-year-old to identify a defendant and to identify what that person did to them, those are the evidentiary challenges that we encounter in prosecuting cases as to why you would negotiate a plea versus going to trial, because the risk that a 4-year-old is not going to be able to identify exactly who did that to them and what they did is real.
Chief Prosecutor Basil O'Malley says adding to the difficulty is the fact that in some instances the parent, for various reasons, sides with the partner instead of the child.
I had 2 victims in that case. One victim is now living with grandma because mom doesn't believe her. And then the other victim still lives with mom because, she's willing to overlook that mom doesn't really believe either one of them. But they were both telling the truth, got a conviction.
A number of recommendations came out of the roundtable discussion, such as funding an interview recording room where victims' statements can be taken once instead of them having to repeat it for different law enforcement authorities. Also, court-ordered mandatory counseling and treatment for sex offenders while incarcerated. For KUAM News, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
More food and commodities should be on the way soon for struggling families and the homeless. Public Health gave senators an update on the assistance program. Deputy Director Terry Uggin says they are soliciting applications from nonprofit groups to coordinate the distribution. He says they are keenly aware that a growing number of people need the help.
Although the exact number is unknown, the presence of homeless individuals and families at shopping malls, street light intersections, gas stations, and beach parks is becoming a common sight in the villages such as Agana, Tamuning, and Tumon.
A law passed last year appropriated up to $5 million for the food assistance. Public Health says they've been allocated $3 million. Speaker Teresa Lahi says they should push to be able to use it all.
Has the director asked, can we get 5 versus 3? Or have you asked BBMR, what can we get 5 versus 3? Because some of these things seem obvious to us, and they should be automatic, but we know now that they're not. And so it takes a little bit of asking, urging, demanding.
Public Health is pushing to start distribution this month. It's also recommending that the Chamorro Village as a possible distribution site. Still to come on Your News Leader, 988 goes live and the governor attends a pair of wreath-laying ceremonies in both the nation's capital and Virginia. These stories and more coming up next on KUAM News Primetime.
Half a day. I'm Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, and I'm proud to report that we have opened a new relief center to help you as we continue to recover from the pandemic.
From healthcare to welfare, childcare, housing, and utilities, we have a wide variety of direct relief programs available to help you.
This central location provides direct access to most of our public assistance programs under one roof. Our friendly staff are ready to help you through the application process.
We are working to ensure you get the assistance you need to receive the relief available to you and your family.
This means more support to help you meet the cost of living and give you more money in your pocket.
We are improving how government is working. Our administration continues to invest in Guam's future, delivering relief and driving our recovery.
We are all in this together.
Visit the Government of Guam Relief Center at the 3rd floor of the Bank of Hawaii building in Hagåtña, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or call us at 671-475-2060.
Santa Fe family.
Lunches, snacks. We got diapers for baby girl.
Oh, 7:15, we gotta go. Bread, milk, gas for work. Remember to grab Joe Boy a birthday present. Half a day.
Hey, Molly, how much do you pay for daycare for the kids?
Over $600 a month. It's expensive.
Did you hear about the governor's program that covers up to $675 a month for childcare?
Wow, that would be a lifesaver with the rising cost of everything.
Check guamchildcare.com to apply. We qualified. I even booked an appointment for someone to walk me through the process.
guamchildcare.com. Okay, thanks. I'll apply today.
This ad is paid for with federal funds administered by DPHSS.
Attention all middle and high school students, this summer, JA Guam is inviting you to the JA Inspire Virtual Career Exploration Fair. You can register at ja-guam.org and learn about the different industries to consider for your future careers. On July the 12th, we'll be at the GCC Multipurpose Room to conduct JA Economics for Success. And then on September 10th, we launch the 2023 JA Company Program. Again, that's ja-guam.org, so register today. This is sponsored by the Bank of Hawaii, SPDC, Title Guarantee, Graphic Center, Matson, GPO, Deloitte, GTA, and KUAM.
Subscribe to our KUAM News Digest, our weekly email newsletter with all kinds of information straight to your inbox. Just subscribe and we'll make sure to keep you informed and entertained with news from the KUAM News team, what to watch on NBC and CBS, and the latest promotions from KUAM Communications. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab at the top of the homepage, register, and you're all set. Brought to you by Uno Go, Guam on Demand.
Welcome back to your news leader. It's as simple as dialing 3 digits, the lifeline for those experiencing a mental health related or suicidal crisis. It changed nationwide over the weekend. Here's the story.
In the U.S., people contemplating suicide and in mental health distress are not required anymore to dial 10 digits to get help. This went into effect across the nation on Saturday and also pertains to Guam and CNMI residents. This change to the lifeline number allows people to easily remember and access in times of crisis. Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center Director Teresa Ariola explained that for island residents, it's now as simple as dialing 3 digits, 988, to get help from mental health professionals at GBHWC.
For Guam residents, I mean, the very obvious thing is that you no longer have to memorize the Guam Behavioral Health 10-digit crisis hotline number that we were promoting, especially during the last 2.5 years.
Ariola pointed out that all calls made to 988 made from a 671 area code will route back to Guam's suicide and crisis lifeline.
The same folks that you would have called the 10-digit number is the same folks that's answering 988 here at Guam Behavioral Health.
This national shift comes after calls into Guam's lifeline increased in the last 2 years during the global COVID-19 pandemic. From June 1st of last year to June 30th of this year, GBHWC's 24/7 crisis hotline received almost 9,000 calls, most of which required active listening or simply needing someone to talk to. Pre-COVID, GBHWC had 360 calls a year, which averaged 25 to 30 people seeking help a month. For those experiencing a mental health related or suicidal crisis, or those looking to help a loved one through tough times, Ariola encouraged island residents to dial in to 3 digits.
You don't have to deal with it alone or by yourself. Come on in, give us a call at 988. And we'll get you through the proper services.
Meanwhile, the national shift includes online chat and text options, but isn't available to Guam yet. GBHWC is working to avail this feature to the island soon.
On Friday, the Navy and Guam Power Authority signed a new utility service contract, which extends its energy relationship through 2032. The Navy is GPA's biggest customer. The authority's first customer agreement with the Navy took place in 1992 when they signed for 2 10-year terms. GPA General Manager John Beneventi said, quote, "Today's event wasn't just a signing ceremony. It is the continuation of the tremendous collaboration and commitment we have with the Navy. The Navy is a critical customer and a valued community partner as well," end quote. The Navy GPA agreement will also allow the Navy to transfer power assets, including substations and transmission and distribution lines to GPA at no cost, ultimately benefiting GPA's customers. Over in the Northern Mariana Islands, a new mobile clinic on wheels is the first of its kind on Saipan, bringing much-needed access to healthcare to residents in remote parts of the island. KUAM regional correspondent Tomas Maglotnio reports.
Everybody, when it comes to accessing care, has their own barriers, whether it's personal or financial or, just even social barriers that they face every day.
Some of those barriers are breaking as the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation unveiled the first of its kind mobile clinic on Saipan.
This is another way for us to bring the care to them and really open the door for them to access primary care.
Plans for the mobile clinic for the NMI's only hospital in 2020 in part by a block grant through the Northern Marianas Housing Corporation. The bus was shipped in from North Carolina, costing over $600,000. It's expected to hit the road in October.
The mobile clinic is really meant to be a liaison between the community and our overall CHCC campus here in Navy Hill. So, we can do child checks, we can do regular, adult screenings, and we plan to do women's health on there. But, the ultimate goal is still to have people come get primary care services regularly here at CHCC Navy.
Those services are now more accessible for residents from all walks of life.
We're rolling through your hood and your kid hasn't been seen for, a well child check, and they're about to go into school, or you're feeling some symptoms. You maybe also haven't gotten a pap smear in a while and haven't been able to make the arrangements to come to CHCC, then we can do it that way.
Tomas Manglonia for KUAM News.
On Thursday in Washington, D.C., a wreath-laying ceremony was held near Guam's commemorative pillar at the World War II Memorial to honor the 78th anniversary of the liberation of Guam. The event was hosted by the Guam Society of America, Guam Visitors Bureau, and the Washington, D.C. Liaison Office, and led by former Congresswoman Madeline Bordallo. Governor Leon Guerrero addressed an audience of military service members, White House dignitaries, and Chamorros living in the U.S. during the ceremony. Quote, "We recognize the brave heroism of our liberators whose devotion to democracy brought forth the light of a new day for Guam and our people," end quote, the governor said. In her remarks, quote, "Celebrate the legacy we have built since those dark days and our tireless commitment to making our island a stronghold of hope, a lighthouse of liberty, and a community united," end quote. Governor Leon Guerrero and Delegate Michael St. Nicholas laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia on Friday to commemorate the 78th anniversary of the island's liberation. Governor Leon Guerrero was invited to be the guest of honor by the delegate. In other news, during this month's island-wide beautification task force meeting, the island's territorial veterinarian gave a status update on the island's spay and neuter program. KUAM's Daniel Perez has more.
It's the island's first large-scale operation to reduce the number of stray animals on the street. So far, the spay neuter program, or SNP, through the Department of Agriculture, has performed 398 procedures with the help of ground animals and youth. In this month's island-wide beautification task force meeting, territorial veterinarian Dr. Mariana Turner shared the spay and neutering services could be open to the public very soon.
We've hired on some support staff and working on training so that hopefully we'll be able to open up to the public in the next month or so. In the meantime, we're kind of trickling in a few of the public already just to fill in a little bit of the gap in the gain adopted animals when they don't have enough for us. So we're trying to stay busy while we also complete training.
Dr. Turner said that veterinarians from F Island will also pay Guam a visit to help with the stray animal problem.
We're also in the process right now of hopefully getting some visiting veterinarians from Taiwan in the beginning of August and doing a big outreach program that's in the works for the first 2 weeks of August, but we're making that progress and this close to being open to the public.
The outreach program with the visiting veterinarians is being planned to happen at one of the villages, confirmed by Sinahanya Mayor Robert Hoffman.
They did reach out to the mayors, Mayor Alec did, and I think we're trying to hammer down the locations because I think they're looking to anywhere from 50 to 75 dogs per day, so that's amazing.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
I know MCM and Talafoco have both offered their gymnasiums or
Yes.
their facilities, but we're also looking so we can kind of maybe do a rotation, but we're working in partnership with you all already.
Dr. Turner added that she will do a site inspection on the facilities offered so far to see which one is the best to accommodate all the veterinarians and animals. The stray animal problem has been a long-standing issue on the island, with the village mayors and residents raising their concerns about it regularly. Daniel Perez reporting for KUAM News.
If you were out and about on Sunday, chances are you witnessed and heard an island tradition this time of year and were inspired by a true humanitarian event. The Guam Hogs Motorcycle Club trolled rolled out for their annual Christmas in July ride, trekking around the island with other bike enthusiasts to deliver cheer, supplies, and a positive message to our community's less fortunate neighborhoods. Among the areas the group visited were the Erica's House, Sanctuary, the Guam Memorial Hospital Authority, and the Kate Thomas Foundation. The Hogs and their many friends and partners delivered much more than just needed physical goods. They delivered hope. Stay tuned. Up next on KUAM News Primetime, KUAM's Dave Delgado with your roundup of local sports. Keep it here to your news leader.
Need a new phone? Trade in now and get up to $500 off our best 5G devices. Trade in your older phone in any condition and step up to better savings and speeds only our 5G network can provide. Check out our website and catch up on the best mobile experience. Trade in now. Docomo Pacific, better together.
And there you have it, McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich. From the makers of the world's most stolen fries. The juicy chicken sandwich from the place that offers extra napkins for a reason. The tender chicken sandwich from the creators of a sandwich phenomenon. So you won't just be biting into a chicken sandwich, you'll be biting into McDonald's new crispy, juicy, tender chicken sandwich. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Mobile offers a new and convenient way to fuel your vehicle. Pay gas and go. No need to line up inside the store. Press preset. Enter whole dollar amount without decimals. Press Loyalty ID and enter your mobile number or insert Smiles card. Insert and remove payment card or tap contactless credit card. Begin fueling. And don't forget to grab your receipt. Pay gas and go. It's that easy.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. You can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific, better together.
Championship basketball from the FD Alumni Tournament, class of 02-04, taking on class of 2020 for this year's championship game. A total of 29 goals in 4 matches were scored over the weekend as the Bud Light Women's Soccer League returned to play after a 2-year hiatus, with matches in both the Premier and Amateur divisions at the Guam Football Association National Training Center. The Bank of Guam Strikers are in the top spot of the Premier Division after the team's 2-0 win over Guam Shipyard. Quality Distributors FC picked up the win 2-1 over Metro Pacific Islanders FC. In the Amateur Division, the GPSI Southern Cobras took advantage of a shorthanded Tsunami team, winning 19-0 to take the top spot in the division's leaderboard. The Bank of Guam Strikers, too, picked up the 4-1 win over the Napa Rovers FC. Team Mosas picked up the win via forfeit over the Sidekick SC. The Bud Light Women's Soccer League continues this weekend. For updated schedules, check out guamfa.powerupsports.com. All matches will be played at the Guam Football Association National Training Center.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
I was able to take the hunter safety course here on Guam. The course is really the gateway to getting started with becoming an ethical and responsible hunter. It's free for the community, so why not use it?
It's very informative on the jungle's ecosystem and identification of indigenous plant species that are going extinct. I think it's something that everyone should do. Even if you don't hunt, you should be able to give back and protect our natural resources.
It's really become a tradition on both sides of our family, and we're able to mold that into our own little family with our kids and keep that tradition alive.
We wrap up tonight's show with your birthday shoutouts. Here's KUAM's Jason Solis.
Happy birthday to Maya Taikenko. Happy birthday to you from your loving family. And Rachel Lynn Cruz, who celebrates birthday number 27. She actually did so on the 15th. You get all the love in the world from Dad and the family. She's an assistant crew chief for the F-15E Strike Eagle and is currently stationed at RAF Lakenheath in England. So thank you for your service to our country and our island. We salute you, and we wish the both of you a happy Liberation Day and a happy birthday.
You can be a part of our Coach Stone Creamery Birthday Club by checking out KUAM.com. And that's our newscast this Monday evening. Guahusi Isaiah. Again, thank you for watching. Be safe and good night, Marianas.
Good day, everyone. Welcome to another edition of The Hub. I'm Nestor DeCanto. Today I'm joined by attorney Vanessa Williams, who is the legal counsel for the Democratic Party.
Morning.
We've got Dr. Ron McNinch, of course, a good friend of ours from the University of Guam, and another good friend of ours, Sean Gumutata, former colleague here at KUAM, representing the Camacho Ada campaign, senior advisor.
Sure. Good afternoon or good morning, everybody.
All right, so let's get the discussion started off. I wanted to talk about political fundraising, the climate for it. The incumbent has the benefit of having known all along that they were going to run for re-election, so I imagine that that campaign war chest is pretty big. In addition, they got the windfall of the multi-billion-dollar federal funding that you could consider part of that political campaign war chest. And then Governor Camacho got, I believe he came in a little bit later than typical. So let's start with that. The climate for political fundraising. How do you assess that?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll say with the ARP funds, they're very strictly regulated by federal law and guidelines. So that definitely isn't part of the, the war chest, so to speak. But the Democratic Party of Guam, they've always been the big tent party. They're the party for working families. They fight for increases in minimum wage, access to housing, and really greater equal opportunity for all. And so recognizing that, they know that right now Democrats understand that people aren't really concerned or thinking about donating or making political contributions. They're worried about, how much is inflation going to continue to rise? Are we going to be able to afford things? So that said, dollars are sparse. We know that. And I think Democrats are really working hard to stretch that dollar a lot further. And we see that everything from campaigning to fundraising is really going digital.
Yeah, and Sean, how has the economic climate been for trying to raise money for the Republican side?
What's interesting is that with a person who is kind of not an incumbent, you have the kind of the benefit of the largest cabinet in the United States, right? With the current administration, and that's pretty much the way for most of Guam. You have also maybe 1,000 plus unclassified folks who are also supporting it. When you don't have that, it makes it very challenging in terms of trying to reach to others for dollars. And so most of it's going back to the supporters. A lot of volunteers are coming forward, a lot of low dollar perhaps, but then what we're finding is that most of the contributions now, they're seeing like, well, how can we help to, we're up against a big machine. How do we get past that? With no primary, it's a little bit easier, but as we're prepping for the general, at least as the last couple of weeks are showing us, it's getting more and more, let's call it winds at our back, and monies are now coming in, which is, who would have thunk, even in this economy?
When Governor Calvo was here, our last show, he mentioned the fact that there would be some assistance from the National Republican Party.
Right.
What kind of assistance? Is there going to be some monetary donations for the campaign?
My understanding, yes. It was part of a process to help write kind of like the new plan for the party. And so, yes, there'll be monies for polling. There'll be monies for getting out the vote primarily. And so, which is good. Because in the past, the Republican Party or the National Republican Party hasn't given a lot of funds to Guam. We'd have to pretty much rely on all of our traditional donors, and obviously the big Republican stalwarts are just giving money to help push the agenda. But this is kind of it's a new time for us, and so we're very excited about the Republican National Committee giving money back to Guam, which is awesome.
And you had the national chairman out here too.
That didn't hurt, right? Yeah, and so local Republicans are seeing that, hey, the RNC is taking a serious look at what's happening here in terms of what kind of resources they can give, and just asking, and which has been absolutely supportive. And actually, that's what kind of helped spur writing, kind of new plans for the party, and well, it's going to equal dollars, and that's good.
Ron, Sean alluded to it that there is no primary challenger to the Republicans. Is that help or hurt? Should they hang on to their money and start spending it closer to the general election, or how do you see that?
Well, if you're talking about the governor's race, it's odd because in this particular race, all three of the gubernatorial candidates have off-the-shelf earned media. We have a sitting governor, we have a sitting delegate to Congress, we have a former governor. At any point, any one of them can just hang out a shingle to the media and get free media. So that's one advantage, at least from the governor's race side. And so it's a lesser thing. I have been, I've mentioned this in other times too, a little bit concerned about how we do the primary and how the primary dynamics are going out because of the large number of crossover votes in the past that have really disrupted the Democrat side of the ticket. So like 1998, 5% of people voted Republican, 95% voted Democrat, and they totally disrupted the Democrat race. And so when the Democrats spend money in the primary, they have to spend money because of those really weird dynamics that go on. One other thing I mentioned to everyone, on the senatorial side, of course, the incumbents have earned media, but any candidate with well-spent money can get themselves elected to the Guam legislature under $10,000. It's not as toutedly high as people claim it is. And we measure this by the number of amounts of funds that people raise per the number of votes they get. And it's very, very clear. Some candidates have to spend $7 a vote, and other candidates can spend 30 cents a vote. And there's really no real connection between the amount of money a candidate raises for the legislature and the approach they use to get themselves elected.
How difficult do you think it will be for Mike Nicholas and Sabrina to raise money for their campaign?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it, but he does have the because he's the current delegate, he does have those advantages that come with being the current delegate, just as the governor has the advantages of being the current sitting governor. And so I don't know, though. I haven't really given that a lot of thought. And then there are all these other dynamics that are unresolved related to all these races that's currently everyone's talking about on both sides. Right. And so I think both of y'all could probably compare notes and see you believe in similar items like that.
Vanessa, Ron brought up media. So I wanted to see what you thought about traditional media and versus social media, which is where it's headed. I tend to think, and I might be biased, that the traditional media is still very effective, radio and TV. What are your thoughts on that in terms of getting the word out in a campaign?
I think traditional media is still effective, but I think that's a credit to how traditional media outlets have integrated with social media. And I think you cannot underestimate the power of social media, because you got to remember most adults now, or at least half of them, are digital natives. Gen Z, they're parents. Millennials, we're pushing 40, or we're 40 already. So, and we, as digital natives, we understand and we kind of speak the language on social media and can really see through the lines and through some of the spin and assess the credibility of people who are campaigning on social media. So it is pretty powerful. Plus you have that organic growth, and people see something, they like it, they share it, and those are endorsements. You have influencers in every other industry, and now you're seeing influencers in the political space.
Yeah. Sean?
I said it on this air, I've said it multiple times throughout the last cycle. I mean, if you saw what happened with in the last delegate race when Dr. Underwood, who ran probably one of the most textbook campaigns ever, he lost because of social media primarily. He did the door knocking, he raised money. Delegate Nicholas didn't go anywhere near territory. He had a lot of great images of ice cream eating and popcorn serving, and won twice. So we cannot discount the power of social media when it comes to political campaigns, because pretty much all of us saw it firsthand that even the best ground game could not be a social media game that was pretty much we've all felt it wasn't untested, but it was a big deal.
Okay, I'm gonna get to you, Ron, but we got to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of The Hub. Don't go away.
Four years ago, we expressed our belief that a strong economy depends on a strong middle class, that small businesses need help to survive in tough times, and new industries are needed to diversify our economic base. The pandemic proved us right in so many ways.
We said we would support tax cuts for small businesses, and we did. We said we would streamline government services to create a more business-friendly environment, and we are. We said we would invest in infrastructure improvements, and we have. We said we would expand opportunities for our people to learn much-needed trades, and we delivered.
Let's continue this progress. We are all in this together, and we humbly ask for your vote. This is Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, and I approve this message.
MTO Maintenance will now completely sanitize your home, office, or business with state-of-the-art commercial sprayers. For over 30 years, MTO Maintenance has been committed to the health and safety of our customers. And now, more than ever, a clean home, office, carpets, and furniture is a necessity to our island. Give us a call today. Stay healthy and stay safe, Guam.
Call 647-6861 for an appointment.
Want a real taste of New York? The Big New Yorker is back with a big, bold taste rolled into 16 inches of foldable crust. It's handmade to perfection with a sweet marinara sauce and your favorite topping. And at 30% larger than our large, the Big New Yorker is only $10.99 for carryout. Bring together your family and friends for a Big New Yorker party. Each pizza is just $10.99 for carryout. The Big New Yorker, so close you can taste it. Only at your Island Pizza Hut.
All right, welcome back, everyone. When we left off, we were talking about social media versus traditional media. I want to get Dr. Ron's input on that.
Yeah, the other day in class, one of my students said, "Wow, my skills are like boomer level," and I'm like, "What boomer level?" They're like,
"Hey, boomer."
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and so suddenly I've realized that there's like this view among young people, generation that they use. It's kind of interesting, but I think in general, skills are adaptive right now, and people everywhere are learning how to use these technologies. And people are learning to interface with these technologies in different ways. But I have to say, for Guam, nothing beats us sitting right here talking to each other in person. And you'll see that at fiestas, you'll see that at these individual levels. And so I agree that Mike did a great job on the social media side, but I think that because of COVID, people have a deep down yearning for that personal face-to-face talk. And I think that's going to make a big point in this election.
I asked my students last semester at ULG, because I teach communications there, and I asked them, where do you get your information from? And 99% of them all said they got it from social media. They did not go to your newspapers or we're on KUAM, the other radio stations. They all said they get it from social media. And I was like kind of stunned for a moment, because I asked that question every year for the last decade. And it's progressively used to be a newspaper, used to be a television broadcast like KUAM, and now it's completely almost all social media.
Ron touched on it, and I wanted to just get there real quickly. Pocket meetings, still important, critical?
Well, yes, but then when you look at it today, remember, politics is always about a game of addition. So when you start seeing at these things now, are there the same people, or are you bringing more people? So today, right at this moment, at least in our case, you probably won't see any of those until probably the general. And I think that they are still important, but they come at a heavy burden to like people who are hosting them, the campaigns that are trying to get the word out. It's big cost, and hopefully the yield is going to be absolutely votes.
Yeah. Vanessa, what do you think?
Oh, I think pocket meetings are absolutely still important, because this is the flip side of social media, right? You have some candidates who only use social media, and they filter what they'll respond to, and really now you have this ethical concern about your transparency, or whether you're really fit for the job. Can you respond on the fly and have a genuine, authentic conversation with someone? And so when you have pocket meetings, I think you see a lot of familiar faces at these pocket meetings. I'd say about half, right? But then you have the other half, for people who are genuinely interested and want that face-to-face time. So, for example, if you look at the sitting governor's team and their pocket meetings, they invite all of the candidates, and any Democratic Party candidate, even both that are running for Congress, will have spoken at the same pocket meeting, and they get that face-to-face time, not only the platform, but then they can speak to the half of the people are there and have a genuine conversation. And from there, you have a multiplier effect. This was that you have on social media, which amplifies, when you do it there. But at the pocket meeting, you get like 50 or 100 new faces, and they go talk to their cousins and their aunties and their grandmas at the kitchen table, and then you get the word of mouth out there. And people really want authentic, And
Ron, I don't mean to make you the MSN representative here, but he's had like the cotton candy thing that he's been doing.
Sure. I think that novelty is always good, but you see what he's doing when he's doing cotton candy things is he's getting kids excited, so then the kids talk about their parents. One of the key things I don't see candidates do a lot here, and we'll see this election, candidates now can get individuals to take selfies with them, so then you have the synergy of the personal connect to the social media connect. And so there's a lot of neat opportunities, and he did some of that with the cotton candy effect. That is, he encouraged people to take selfies with him, which then translated into more social media hits, which then translated into more people talking about these things. So it's a kind of interesting, a novel approach. But I think that the key thing is good candidates are going to look for these novel approaches, and they're going to try new things, and not just relying on, my name and people know me. That doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about how national politics influences local politics, if at all. And right in your wheelhouse, Vanessa, the big issue nationally has been abortion. What is its impact here?
Well, I mean, you've seen the impact here. It was literally cut and paste from Texas, and here we are. And really what has become a dominated party of Trump, the Republican Party. And so you have some Republicans who I suspect may have gone rogue and grabbed a couple rogue Democrats and they introduced this bill. So unfortunately, we still have a lot of Guam listening to the national conversation. So yeah, I think it's really infiltrated, but the response, ultimately it's Guam voters who vote on it. The response has really been local. So you can see the disconnect there, because when you had you had senators who sponsored and had a hearing on the bill that was cut and paste from Texas that was anti-choice, anti-abortion, you had like 80% of the testimony against the bill. And we're talking 1,000 people submitted testimony. And so over 800 were against it. So, I think that the parties, it would behoove the parties to understand, that maybe right here on the ground isn't following the national conversation all the time. And we don't necessarily need to follow the national political playbook to address what the current needs of Guam are. When you have just real crisis for women and children here right now, the highest poverty rate, infant mortality rate higher than any other state in the country, and women and children more likely to be abused and assaulted than anywhere else in the country, or like second highest in the country.
Okay, I got to squeeze Sean in here because we're running out of time. But we have a clear distinction here. The Governor Leon Guerrero clearly pro-choice. Governor Camacho clearly pro-life. I think MSN and Sabrina are split. I think Mike said he was pro-life and Sabrina is pro-choice. What kind of an impact is that going to have?
Quite frankly, I think the national discussion on it is probably less important than the current economy. I think that most of us will say that when you look at what means the most, I don't have my wallet right now with me, but if I had it, I can show you. It is the pocketbook issues that have become the most important issues for the community today. In America, yes, of course, that's also the same. And the whole issue of life and choice is somewhere around third or fourth priority. But we have to remember as a community that those are important because it's going to impact locally, right? What happens at the White House will trickle down to the state for the most part. And I think we've seen it throughout the pandemic. We've seen it with a lot of the programs that have been launched with a Democrat-led Senate and a Democrat-led House and White House, obviously. But yes, it should, but I think community needs to be understanding it a bit more today.
Okay, I'm told we got to take one more break, so we're going to do that, and we'll be back to wrap up the show right after this. Don't go away.
Santa Fe family.
Unified Communications, UC, is the next step in a business phone system. Introducing Docomo Pacific UC, your business phone. Instant messaging, video, voicemail, fax, and more. All unified on one platform and delivered through the cloud. Merge your desk phone with your mobile device. Turn voice calls into video conference. UC reduces phone costs. UC boosts productivity. Work better together with Docomo Pacific UC.
Pop it like it's hot. 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 Pop it like it's hot.
Pop my classic and spicy 50-50 popcorn chicken combo. Only at Jack in the Box.
Half a day. I'm Governor Lou Leon Guerrero, and I'm proud to report that we have opened a new relief center to help you as we continue to recover from the pandemic.
From healthcare to welfare, childcare, housing, and utilities, we have a wide variety of direct relief programs available to help you.
This central location provides direct access to most of our public assistance programs under one roof. Our friendly staff are ready to help you through the application process.
We are working to ensure you get the assistance you need to receive the relief available to you and your family.
This means more support to help you meet the cost of living and give you more money in your pocket.
We are improving how government is working. Our administration continues to invest in Guam's future, delivering relief and driving our recovery.
We are all in this together.
Visit the Government of Guam Relief Center at the 3rd floor of the Bank of Hawaii building in Hagåtña, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or call us at 671-475-2060.
Crispy chicken tacos for Anna, and I've got my usual.
I can't believe you don't want to try these.
You think I could try a bit of that sauce?
It's alright. A lot of sauce.
Try the Cantina Crispy Chicken Tacos from Taco Bell.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, the Super American Circus is back on Guam, performing 8 shows per week at the PIC Hotel. Witness thrilling acts like the Motorcycle Team and the Globe of Danger, the Amazing Skywheel, the High Flying Motorcycle, acrobats, beautiful aerial ballerinas, jugglers, and more. Get your tickets at www.superamericancircus.com. Get free kids tickets at Burger King and Circle K 76, valid for the month of July. Presented by Burger King and Circle K 76.
No waiting in line to see your doctor or to pick up your medication. From tips to living a healthier lifestyle, nutrition and fitness, to the latest wellness trends, stay healthy by checking in for your weekly dose of health news on Health Check every Tuesday on KUAM News Extra. Health Check is presented by Island Cancer Center.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
KUAM Communication is your home for star-studded entertainment from America's top networks. From specials, concerts, award shows, and can't-miss red carpet moments. It's all on KUAM TV 8 and KUAM TV 11. Check KUAM.com and our social media pages for showtimes and schedules. Network specials on KUAM Communications are brought to you locally by King's Restaurants, Ruby Tuesday Guam, and Docomo Pacific.
Properties in the Tropics is your weekly roundup of the hottest properties on Guam. Every Thursday, get a virtual walkthrough of homes, apartments, townhomes, and land available for lease, rent, or sale, with a breakdown of the most important info, including costs, features, and of course, location details. Watch it on KUAM News Hotspot at 11 a.m. on streaming and TV 8, or catch the encore at 5 p.m. on TV 11. You can also check out each installment on Instagram too. Properties in the Tropics is presented by Remax Diamond Realty.
Join us in saluting those making strides and serving in our armed forces every Tuesday on the KUAM News Instagram account. These weekly posts round up profiles of Guamanians receiving accolades in the armed forces, those stationed on Guam making a difference in our community, and veterans being recognized for their service. Presented by Future Smiles Orthodontics. Build a brighter future with a brighter smile.
Join Nestor Lacanto for virtual in-depth discussions with the movers and shakers in our community every Wednesday on In Full Zoom. Presented by IT&D and Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Local Music Mashup. For the first 3 Thursdays of every month, sit back, relax, and vibe out as we showcase Guam's local talent through their video submissions. Tune in for Local Music Mashup on KUAM TV 8 at 6:30 p.m. and TV 11 at 7:30 p.m. Or catch it on KUAM digital platforms. You're not going to want to miss this.
Local Music Mashup is brought to you by Burger King, BK Your Way, and American Music, located in the Compadres Mall.
KUAM Digital presents a series highlighting the wide array of talents on our island. Whether they're a standout gamer, extreme athlete, performer, or have a unique skill to show off, we're showcasing them every month on Wow Factor. Brought to you by Mountain Dew. Do the do.
See what's on TV tonight with schedules, network news and notes, local promotions and giveaways on KUAM Communications social media pages. Like and follow us on Facebook or Instagram now for all the latest and never miss out.
Do you love live sports? Then you need GTA Digital TV. GTA has the most sports SD and HD channels on Guam. ESPN, Fox, NFL Network and Red Zone, NBA TV in HD, and so much more. We got MMA and boxing fans covered too. Plus, with TV everywhere, never miss the big game or fight again. Get your sports on with GTA Digital TV.
All right, we are back with the last 5 minutes. So let me start with you, Ron. Congressman Michaelson Nicholas did his speech. A lot were saying that was more of a campaign speech than a State of the Congress address. What were your thoughts?
Every speech any candidate makes, regardless, I don't care how far away the election is, it's a campaign speech. And so I think that, and people are going to make any kind of political angle they want to out of it. He's going to promote best thing ever, and his opponents are going to promote worst thing ever. So that's pretty much how I viewed this speech, and the time really didn't matter, and even the content didn't matter for the most part. It all deals with how people translated it. And people will translate these things in different sorts of ways. It doesn't even matter what the reality of any elements of the speech were. It's all in how people perceived and translated.
All right, 90 seconds, Vanessa, your reaction.
Yeah, I think a lot of people perceived it, including myself, as a lot of finger pointing, which was a little disappointing because, but you get that with every election, right? You have all of the Monday morning armchair quarterbacks who are like, okay, this is what I would or could have, it should have done, right? But at the end of the day, there are people here, including myself. I'm raising my 2 small girls. I'm just, they're growing up quickly. I want to know, what are we going to do right now? What are the solutions? Let's stop with pointing the fingers. Tell me how you're going to solve the problems. I want specifics, and to just say, oh, we're going to do better, or look, we need to take Guam back, or we need to do, revive something. No, I want to know going forward, what are you going to do today so that the life for my kids is going to be better 10 years from now? They're going to have more money in their pockets. They're going to have more choices, and they're going to have more opportunities.
And you don't think he did that?
Huh?
You don't think he did that in his speech?
No, absolutely not.
All right, Sean, 90 seconds.
I'll just say this. I've helped write 8 State of the Island addresses for a former governor, and I expected a lot from his speech. I think he let a lot of people down, this whole entire community, with his approach. I think that the speech did not address his major issues that he covered, because quite frankly, if you would have known about it for the last 12 months on this air, on other platforms, print, we would have known those. So all of a sudden, all this work came out. We're like, oh great, that's good that we know it now. No, it was absolutely I wasn't a very big fan of the speech. I thought his approach was terrible. I think Vanessa's right that he pointed his fingers too much, and I think that just not what we expect of our delegate to Congress. I think it was just a bad speech.
Okay, we do have a couple of minutes, 1 minute, about a minute left. So let me ask you, there was a photo on the Governor Camacho's Facebook page with former Senator Frank Uggan. Does that mean Frank Uggan is supporting Governor Camacho?
Yes, I think they were waving this morning somewhere else in Guam. I think that maybe Adolfo Palacios too was at a function last night that said, hey, by the way, we're supporting Guam, and we're supporting the Republican candidates. I think that, I know it's getting that groundswell of support from different folks across the entire spectrum. And yeah, it looks like an endorsement to me. And I don't know if you guys drive by Jonia, the big sign that's on his
That's
property.
a little out of the way for me, but no.
Yeah, but yeah, it's also kind of telling, right?
At his property, yeah. Ron, you've been saying this all along, that the Democrats are their own worst enemies at times come these elections. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we have a very interesting Democrat Party here, but we also have some interesting Republican dynamics. This is a really fun election, especially if, like me, I'm just interested in watching to see how these folks battle things out. And there's a lot of little battles going on here, and you can see it when you start watching for it. And even some of the things Sean's saying, it's a battle among the Republicans. Some of the things that Vanessa's saying is a battle among the Democrats, and then they have their mutual areas that they contrast with. So I think this is going to be an interesting election.
All right, Vanessa, you're going to get the final word. What is your thoughts on the impact of Frank Uggan Jr. kind of?
That's what I love about the Democratic Party, is we're the big tent party. So we have people from all walks of life who passionately disagree on some things. You're seeing it right now on the choice issue, right? But at the end of the day, what Democrats want is to make Guam better, and equal opportunity, dignity, access for everybody, and really support the working class and working families, so we know where their hearts are.
All right. With that, we're going to close out the show. I'm Nestor Licondo. That's Attorney Vanessa Williams, Dr. Ron McNinch, and Sean Gumantanto. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week on The Hub.
Let's go, Brand.